Okay, everybody, in this video, we're going to talk about how to set the retail price of your product, what it costs to manufacture your product, and what you're going to sell it for wholesale. But before we get into pricing, I want to remind everyone what the point of this video series is. There are multiplied thousands of people trying to get their product into major retail chains. The majority of products that have gotten placement in today's competitive market have done so with the help of a reality changer or changers. The reason we're talking about value propositions, packaging, branding, and all the other subjects that we're covering in this video is so that when you meet a reality changer, you can be as prepared as possible. I really want to convince you, planning and preparation is everything. If you plan and prepare properly, you have a shot. And if you don't have any expectation of success. I am a reality changer. I can analyze your value proposition, your product, your packaging, your price, all of it in just moments with a high degree of accuracy. Because I've been involved in thousands of transactions with retail chains, I can see just in an instant who has a shot and who doesn't. If you meet a reality changer in your industry, they're going to be exactly the same. They're going to size you up in just moments and your product, and you must be ready. Please, in no way misunderstand me. I want you to win. Marketing gurus say someone needs to hear something at least 7 times before it starts to sink in. So you're going to hear me say over and over in different ways, plan, prepare, anticipate your competition, and most especially, focus. I've seen so many great products flop simply for failure to plan. I want to help you achieve your dreams, but the only way that's going to happen is if you prepare yourself in every way possible. Please remember that I've been there and done that. I'm not speaking to you from opinion. I'm speaking to you from experience. If you want to skip some of this advice that you can, but you're going to be disappointed. Most of you that listen to this video have 1 or 2 products that you'd like to place at retail. I've had a 500 store chain give me a 24-foot running section of shelving that's 8 foot tall to fill with product. I dealt with one chain of nearly 300 stores that purchased almost 60% of everything that I offered them. We created special items just for that chain. That chain bought so much product from me, I got a townhouse close to their headquarters so I could go over to their offices 3 or 4 times a week and pick up orders. What I'm trying to communicate to you is that I've been there and done that, and I'm dumping out 30 years of experience into this video series because I want you to be successful. I had a mentor that was hard on me for 25 years of my life, and he did it because he cared about my future. And now I'm doing the same thing for you. Okay, so here I am saying it to you again. You need to plan, prepare, anticipate your competition, and most especially, you need to focus. Take a look at this launch plan. This is just a draft of a plan for one single item with a hope, not a promise, of getting into retail. Seriously, a lot goes into launching a product properly and profitably. I've had opportunity to spend time with some of the legendary names in the Acting on TV business, including Billy Mays, Anthony Sullivan, AJ Kubani, Ron Popeil, and others. These people eat, sleep, and breathe products. They love products in a way that you can't understand unless you spend time with them. It is a passion for products that's beyond passion. You know what it is that I really need and want from you? I need you to be more passionate about your product than I am about you succeeding. And if you can do that, you have a real shot at retail placement. Okay, let's talk about how you're going to develop your retail price for the market, and I want to define a few terms that we're going to use for our discussion. MSRP stands for Manufacturer's Suggested Retail Price, and it's what you intend your product to sell for in the market. Wholesale refers to the wholesale cost that the retailer or retail chain pays for your product. When we're using the term cost, what we're speaking about is your raw cost of manufacturing your product not including sales and distribution expenses. When we speak of margin, this is how much money you make or how much money the retail chain makes on the sale of a product. A couple of examples. If we say a product has a 40% margin at retail and the item retails for $9.99, then the profit is $4. If an item retails for $19.99 and has a 30% margin, then the profit would be $6.
Before we talk about how to price your item at retail and at wholesale, we've got to talk about something that's even more important, and that's the cost of your product.
As a general rule, your cost needs to be no more than 20% of the MSRP. Very simply put, if you intend for your item to sell for $9.99 at Walmart, Target, Walgreens, and other national retailers, your cost has to be no more than $2. I think this information may surprise some of you, but please understand that this is experience talking and not opinion. And let me show you why. In most product categories, the retail chain will expect at least a 50% margin. If your MSRP is $9.99, then the retailer will want to pay you no more than $5 for your product. But they'll expect concessions that could amount to as much as 10% of your selling price. And you're going to have to pay commission to a reality changer, which could be again as high as 10%. So now your $9.99 item is being sold for $4 to the retail chain instead of for $5. You say, okay, great, I'm still doubling my money. Wait, I'm not done. As a general rule in companies, operating expense is around 10 to 12% of sales. Let's say it's just 10%, so now you're down to $350. You're going to have to do at least some marketing on your own to build your brand. This is really another 10% number, so now you're selling to the chain at $3. Yes, you can trim all these numbers and make more profit, but it's better to be pleasantly surprised than to lie to yourself about reality. In general, your raw costs cannot be more than 20% of retail. Not 30%, not 35%, especially not 40%. I've owned enough businesses to know there will be unexpected expense. What I'm trying to convince you to do here is to be sure you've anticipated all of your possible costs realistically with some wide margins for error. Sometimes when I'm describing to people what it takes to get into retail chains, people will say, wow, I'm just not going to deal with all that. I'll make my millions direct to consumer. To which I say, that's a graveyard where I've seen a lot of products die. There is no doubt that there are plenty of direct to consumer success stories. I'd just like you to consider that the cost of creating a successful direct to consumer model could be even more than just getting a single national placement. Many of the things you need to do for a direct-to-consumer model are exactly the same things you need to do for a retail placement model. And we'll be talking about this in the videos that follow. Getting a coveted shelf space in just one major retail chain will surpass what most people will ever do trying to sell everything through their website direct-to-consumer. Now, I'm not trying to hate on direct-to-consumer model, but let me ask you a very important question. If direct-to-consumer works so well, then why aren't major brands pulling out of the retail stores in order to make more margins? Think about it. Runaway successes in the direct-to-consumer business are rare, but if you follow the procedures I'm teaching you in this series, you have a real shot at success because you're going to check boxes your competition doesn't know exist. And when the time comes for you to meet your reality changer, you're going to be the one who is the most prepared. Please keep in mind that after you get your product into a few retail chains, your direct-to-consumer business will be much, much easier to grow. Here's another good question for you. Do you know what your competition pays for their product? Do you know how much their margins are at retail? To say it another way, do you know how much profit retail chains normally make in your industry or category?
Do you know who can give you this information? A manufacturer's rep. I really hope I'm driving home the point that you need to be working with an expert every step of the way in this process. And don't think that your competition is not doing that very thing. Every product you see at major retail in the United States was put there by a team, not by an individual. And you need to make sure that you are surrounded by the best team that you can afford. Perceived value is what a consumer thinks that your product is worth when they examine it. For example, if you're selling a bottle of hot sauce, just a normal bottle of hot sauce for $9.99, most people are going to perceive that that's expensive because they're not used to paying $9.99 for a bottle of hot sauce. It's worth taking your time to do some research on Amazon and notice how many items are being sold in bundle packs or including bonus items. What you see happening on Amazon with the bundle packs and with the bonus items is great advice for you at retail as well. In order to increase perceived value, create a value pack or a bonus pack that is completely different than your competitors.
I once did a product development project to create a next generation fry pan. The closest thing to what we created in the market had a street price of $129. Our raw cost for the item was $10, and we were planning on a $59.95 retail, so 6 times cost. But in the end, I decided to include a set of silicone barbecue gloves with the pan that only cost an additional $1, but raised the perceived value at least $10, if not more. Before you consider pricing head-to-head against your competition, see if there is some way you can increase your perceived value and price around them. You might find that by increasing your perceived value in this way, you can price yourself higher than your competition and make more margin.
I've witnessed many times someone will launch a product, they set their price, and in just a few weeks or days, they're already given a discount. These folks are going to have an extremely difficult time placing their product at major retail because the major retailer is going to want to sell the product at their discounted price and pay a wholesale price based upon that discounted price as well. Notice how rare it is that you see as seen on TV items discounted. They're always $19.99, $14.99, $19.99, $24.99, $49.99, and all of them are protected with a MAP.
MAP, or MAP, stands for Minimum Advertised Price and means the lowest a retail chain may offer manufacturer's product through advertising and media. It is very common in the industry to hear someone say that product is mapped at $9.99, and what they mean is that $9.99 is the lowest price the manufacturer allows the product to be sold for in the market. If you set your retail price, but then do not set a map in order to control that price, someone very quickly is going to discount your item and reset what buyers perceive as your wholesale price.
It is imperative that you control your price at retail through all channels and most especially the internet. If your item retails for $9.99, but you have it on Amazon for $7.99, when you present that item to the retail chain buyer, they're going to want to pay you $4 for it and not $5. Many people fall into the trap of selling their unique new hot item to Amazon. And you know what Amazon does when they get a hold of it? They control the price in the market. Amazon is not your friend. Amazon's #1 priority is Amazon. If you have a genuinely unique value proposition for the market, you need to consider them a hostile ally. They're entire manufacturers, rep firms, and experts who are dedicated solely to placing your item on Amazon and protecting your price. Don't miss this, it's extremely important. The #1 problem I see with people who want to get their product into retail chains is an unstable price on the internet and most especially on Amazon. Do not, under any circumstances, test your pricing on Amazon, and in fact, don't put your item on Amazon until you are sure you have a price that consumers will readily pay and you don't need to discount it.
Number 1, cost to retail is a factor of 5. If your item retails for $19.99, on average you'll need a cost of no more than $4 to make your item work at major retail chains and still make a profit for yourself. Number 2, price differently, not competitively. Try to differentiate yourself from the competition by making a bundle pack, adding more features, adding bonus items, etc. Raise your perceived value and at the same time, raise your retail price. And number 3, control your price. It doesn't matter what the channel is, retail chains, internet, most especially Amazon, stay in control of your price.